Hello viewers, today I am with a prose text of class 12 by Anis Jung, Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. Before proceeding into the text, I would like to say something about the title phrase, Lost Spring. As you can see in the slide, that lost I have taken the color, ash color I have chosen, and spring color I have chosen, green I have chosen. And in comment section I would like to listen from you why I have chosen these two colors. Okay, so let us start. I will not say why I have used two colors. Anis Jung, Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood. This is a book. It was penned down by Anis Jung and it was published in 2005. And from that book, our text, Lost Spring, this has been taken, and our text is an abridged version of that main text without tampering the main tempo of the story. So let us know something about Anis Jung. Anis Jung is a very prominent aspiring Indian English writer. She belonged to India, and definitely she talks about India in her writing. She was born in 1964 in Rourkela and spent her adolescence in Hyderabad, India. And after that, for her higher education, she moved to USA. Her pen always voiced for the marginalized, deprived and downtrodden section of our society. Always. She is a social activist and philanthropist. Philanthropist means lover of mankind or altruist. She composed so many books. She wrote so many books. When a Place Becomes a Person, 1977, Unveiling India, 87, The Song of India, 90, Night of the New Moon, Encounters with Muslim Women in India, 93, Seven Sister, 94, Breaking the Silence, 97, Beyond the Courtyard, 2003, and Lost Spring, Stories of Stolen Childhood, 2005. And from the last one our text has been taken. So we can say one thing, that why she had taken the metaphor from our season cycle, Lost Spring, because spring is the most vital season in the season cycle. And in our life, if we compare the best moment, the best portion of our life, definitely everybody has to accept that childhood is the best portion of our life. It is carefree, it is colorful, it is full of energy, vigor, zing, and definitely it is full of so many hues and colors, so many cry of joys are there. Unfortunately, this spring-like childhood has been stolen from the life of some children, and in this story she is talking about those section of our society, about those children who are deprived of this spring-like childhood. So let us start the text. In the due course I will tell you the relevant things. Anis Jung, in this story, she is starting the story with a not rhetorical interrogation, rather with a interrogation mark. Rhetorical interrogation, it is a different thing. If it is coming, definitely I will elaborate you later. Rhetorical interrogation means within the question the answer will be hidden. If winter comes, can spring be far behind? This is an example of rhetorical interrogation, but it is not the rhetorical interrogation. Rather, the author is starting the text with an interrogation. Why do you do this? I asked Sahib. Sahib is the chief protagonist or the child protagonist of the story that we are about to read. I asked Sahib, whom I encounter every morning, scrounging for gold in the garbage dump of my neighborhood. Scrounging means searching for. Scrounging means I have highlighted the word. Scrounging means looking around for gold. So Sahib, a child who is whom the author is encountering or facing every day, every morning, and Sahib is going to the near the garbage dump, near his neighborhood, near the neighborhood of the author. Sahib left his home long ago, set amid the green fields of Dhaka. His home is not even a distant memory. There were so many storms that swept away their fields and home. His mother tells him that's why they left, looking for gold in the big cities where he now lives. So earlier, actually Sahib is a denizen of Bangladesh, the capital of Dhaka, but there was in remote past there was storm which has destroyed their field, destroyed their house, and they came to India and they settled there. I have nothing else to do, he mutters. So the child protagonist is answering of the first question. So the narrator is asking the first question here, why do you do this? Then he is answering again. So in the middle portion, the author is giving a background, or like a chorus, she is giving extra information about Sahib. I have nothing else to do, he mutters, looking away. So very simply, Sahib answer, I have nothing else to do, that's why I am here. Then the author, she is trying to give a free lecture to the child. Go to school, I say glibly. Glibly means without any earnest or cordiality, you may say, or with a superficial possibility. He is asking that I say glibly, realizing immediately, but in the very next moment the narrator of the story realize that it is very shallow, it is very hollow, it is useless, it is a useless advice for the child. Go to school, I say glibly, realizing immediately how hollow the advice must be. So the narrator is well aware about the fact that the advice that he has given to Sahib, it is very hollow, it is very empty, meaningless. There is no school in my neighborhood, and the child is answering that there is no school in my neighborhood. When they are built one, I will go. If I start a school, will you come? I ask half jokingly. So in a very light-hearted matter, the narrator asking or telling the boy that if I start a school, will you come? He expected an obvious answer that no, I will not join school. But the child Sahib shocked the narrator and give a positive response. Yes, he says, smiling broadly. A few days later, I see him running up to me. So few days later, the child came to the author or the narrator of the story. Is your school ready? आपका school ready है क्या? It takes longer to build a school. अरे इतना आसानी से स्कूल बन जाता है क्या? बहुत समय लगता है. I say, embarrassed at having made a promise that was not meant. So he promised that I will, if I open a school. So he promised to the child that he is about to open a school, but actually it is a hollow promise. It has no base at all. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. Very important line. मेरे जैसा promise, but promises like mine, मेरे जैसा promise abound in, बहुत सारे है, every corner, चप्पे चप्पे में है, of his bleak world, of his bleak world, not our, point to be noted. So the two different worlds are there. One world for the poor people or the marginalized section, and another one for those people of our society who are living in the upper rung. So there is a conscious division, class division is there. But promises like mine abound in every corner of his bleak world. Bleak means very sad, very gloomy world. After months of knowing him, I asked him his name. So when the acquaintance, there was a familiarity, जान पहचान बनने के बाद, once the narrator asked the child his name. Sahibi Alam, he announces. He does not know what it means, and the child was not aware about the meaning of his name. If he knew its meaning, Lord of the Universe, he would have a hard time believing it. अगर उनको पता होता कि इसका साहिब आलम का मतलब ये होता है कि सारे जहान का भगवान और गॉड होता है, तो वो यकीन नहीं कर पाते. This is the devastating irony. Irony means something is stated and the meaning is just the opposite. So his name was Sahib Alam, the Lord of the Universe. And in our story, what the Lord of the Universe is doing? He is a rag picker. He is roaming in the street and just collecting goods or dirt from the garbage. Unaware of what his name represents, he roams the street with his friends, an army of barefoot boys who appear like the morning birds and disappear at noon. So how beautifully the narrator has described their activity. So actually the Sahib and his band, other boys who are coming, here the narrator has used a rhetorical device, that is simile. The group of boys are coming like the morning birds. सुबह की पंछी की तरह आते हैं and disappear at noon, and they are returning back like the flock of birds. Over the months, I have come to recognize each of them. So after several months, with the passage of time, the narrator of the story came across with their name, individually their name. Why are not you wearing chappals? Again another question. I ask one. So the narrator of the story asks a question, one of the boys, that why you are not wearing chappals? And the reply, how beautifully, how innocent the reply is. My mother did not bring them down from the shelf. He answers simply. Another boy is answering, even if she did, he will throw them off. Adds another. So another child is गिविंग द एक्सप्लेनेशन. अगर इसका मम्मी अगर दे भी देते हैं तो ये चप्पल पहनते नहीं है, उसको क्या करते हैं, थ्रो कर देते हैं. हु इज वेयरिंग शूज दैट डू नॉट मैच? एंड द चाइल्ड हु गेव द आंसर, ही वाज वेयरिंग शूज बट द शूज वर नॉट मैचिंग. वन शूज ऑफ वन कलर, अनदर शूज ऑफ अनदर कलर. व्हेन आई कमेंट ऑन इट, he snuffled his feet, and when the narrator point out the thing, he snuffles. Snuffles means he is just dragging his foot. He is just dragging his foot or walking with a slow dragging motion without lifting one's feet. He shuffles his feet and says nothing. I want shoes, says a third boy who has never owned a pair all his life. Another boy, he just expressed his mind that he wanted to have a pair of shoes, but unfortunately these childs are not getting their desired things, or their dreams are remaining in the air somewhere, but they are not getting fulfilled. So the third boy answer, I want shoes, says a third boy who was never owned a pair all his life. Traveling across the country, I have seen children walking barefoot. So this is not the first and exceptional case for the narrator. This is very common. When she composed the story, this was very frequent, and this was very common, that so many children were walking barefoot in cities, on village roads. It is not lack of money, but a tradition to stay barefoot is one explanation. Now, this may be as the narrator saying or pointing out that this is a tradition. ये उन लोगों का आदत है कि चप्पल पहनते नहीं वो लोग. This is one explanation. Actually, sometimes our ideological state apparatus or there is a hegemony or a discourse in our society कि वो लोग पहनते नहीं हैं. We are trying to legitimize the semi aspects those are prevailing in our society. We are trying to legitimize the thing. So this is one explanation. I wonder if this is an excuse to explain away a perpetual state of poverty. But the very next line, the narrator makes it clear that this is nothing but a lame excuse which is trying to, and by this hegemony we the so-called elite class of the society, we are trying to legitimize this thing, this perpetual state of poverty. We are trying to legitimize by those discourses. ऐसे बात कह के हम लोग क्या करने की प्रयास करते हैं, वो जो कमी है, वो जो ड्रॉबैक्स है हम लोगों का सोसाइटी में, वी आर ट्राइंग टू लेजिटिमाइज ऑल दोज लैक्स. I remember a story, a man from Udupi. Udupi is a city in Karnataka. I remember a story, a man from Udupi once told me, as a young boy he would go to school past an old temple where his father was a priest. So the narrator of this story is taking us to another story. This is a cross reference. He would stop briefly at the temple and pray for a pair of shoes. So in front of God, the child is stopping and joining his hand perhaps and asking and praying for a pair of shoes. 30 years later, with the passage of time, after 30 years, the narrator of this story I visited his town and the temple, which was now drowned in the year of desolation. Desolation means erosion or decay. समय के साथ साथ वो मंदिर भी टूट चुका है, खत्म हो रहा है. विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम इट इज बिकमिंग worn out, the plasters are coming and perhaps the roofs is falling down. So which was now drowning in the year of desolation. In the backward where lived the new priest, there were red and white plastic chairs. A young boy dressed in grey uniform, wearing socks and shoes, arrived panting. Panting means deep breathing. Perhaps the child was running and that's why deep breath is coming from his mouth, and threw his school bag on a folding bed. Looking at the boy, I remembered the prayer another boy had made to the goddess. When he had finally got a pair of shoes, let me never lose them. So this is the prayer of the child कि भगवान ये मेरा जो pair of shoes है ये कभी मुझसे खो ना जाए. The goddess has granted his prayer. Perhaps the goddess, this is a very funny comment on the prayer of this child. The goddess has perhaps granted his prayer. That's why the child is wearing shoes and uniform and leading a quality life. Young boys like the son of the priest now wore shoes, but many other like the rag pickers in the neighborhood remain shoeless. My acquaintance means familiarity. My acquaintance with the barefoot rag pickers led me to Simapuri. Simapuri is a place near Delhi on the Simapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi, yet miles away from it metaphorically. So Simapuri, this is a very important line from the text, and question setters are asking question from this line. Simapuri, a place on the periphery of Delhi. This is very close to Delhi. It is almost near the उनका दिल्ली का चौहद्दी में ये सीमापुरी है, बहुत ही नज़दीक है, yet miles away. फिर भी नज़दीक तो है, physically, geophysically there is no such, there is very little distance, or there is no distance at all, but metaphorically there is a wide gulf, there is a pacific gap between them, between the lifestyle, between the facilities, the facilities the Delhi people or the inhabitant of Delhi, which they are getting, and the quality, the kind of life the inhabitant of Simapuri are getting, there is a what should I say, Pacific gap. Those who live here, so those who live here are squatters who came from Bangladesh back in 1971. So those people who are living here, they are coming from Bangladesh in 1971. What happened actually in 1971 in Bangladesh? There was a massacre or an execution, mass execution was going on, killing was going on. Okay, actually West Bangladesh, the portion right now it is in the name is Pakistan. Earlier Bangladesh was a part of Pakistan, and in after the Bangladeshi or the Mukti Juddha, they started their struggle in 1971. Okay, and in 1971 26th March, if I am not wrong, the search operation with the launch of Operation Searchlight, it started, and mass execution was going on. It was in full swing. That's why some Muslim or some Hindus, they came from Bangladesh and they settled in India. So Saib family is among them. Simapuri was then a wilderness. So in 1971 then Simapuri was a wilderness. Wilderness means uninhabited. वहाँ पे कोई नहीं बसता था सीमापुरी में तब. It still is, but it is no longer empty. यहाँ का हालत जैसे 1971 में था, हालत अभी भी ऐसा ही है. But earlier it was empty, but right now it is not empty. So this is the condition. और कुछ नहीं बदला सिवा ये चीज के. In structure of mud with roof of tin and tarpaulin, devoid of sewage, drainage or running water, live 10,000 rag pickers. So in Simapuri, how many rag pickers are living there, squatting there? Almost 10,000 rag pickers are living there. And there is this is a very dingy area, and it is a very unhygienic area where people are somehow trying to live, and there is no drainage system. Always here and there waters are running. It is devoid of sewage system. Okay, totally unhygienic condition is there, and there 10,000 rag pickers are living there. They have lived here for more than 30 years. So 30 years, almost 71 to 30 plus, almost 2001 approx. And the narrator composed this story in 2005. So they have lived here for more than 30 years without an identity. So without any proper identity, these people are living here without permits. They do not have any permits, but with ration cards that gets their name on voter list, and enable them to buy grains. So they have only one paper, that is the ration card. Ration card is not for their identity, rather it is helping them to get their grains. And food is the first essential commodities to survive, for surviving. And the very next line is very important, and from here questions are coming. Food is more important for survival than an identity. खाना साहेब, खाना बहुत ही इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है जिंदगी को जीने के लिए. सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट क्या चीज है? खाना इम्पोर्टेंट चीज है, देन एन आइडेंटिटी. व्हाट अ डिवास्टेटिंग आयरनी. दिस लाइन is very important, and questions are coming from this line. If at the end of the day we can feed our families and go to bed without an aching stomach, we would rather live here than in the field that gave us no grain. So they have a grudge, they have a complaint against their motherland, that is Bangladesh. This Simapuri is providing them their daily bread and butter. Somehow they are living, they are filling up their bread basket or their stomach. कम से कम खाना तो मिल रहा है 2 वक्त की. and the country, the green country, it was so beautiful, it was their motherland, that was Bangladesh, it has given them nothing. The land has given them nothing. The land was insufficient, or it was incapable to provide their daily bread and butter. It was providing nothing. Say a group of women in tattered sari. Tattered saris mean torn out. साड़ी जो था वो टूट चुका था, वो टूटा फूटा हुआ जो साड़ी है. So say a group of women in tattered saris, when I asked them why they have left their beautiful land of green fields and river. Bangladesh is a green field of with green fields and rivers. It is a country of so many green fields and rivers are running. No doubt it is a beautiful scenario. Okay. Wherever they find food, they pitch their tents. Pitch means supervise or होइस्ट. सो जहाँ पे उन लोगों को खाना मिलता है वो लोग क्या करते हैं, तो उनका जो तंबू है, इट इज़ नॉट एट ऑल परमानेंट, इट इज़ अ तंबू टाइप का बना के रहते हैं ना, झुपड़पट्टी टाइप का. वहाँ पे जहाँ पे खाना मिलता है, दे पिच देयर टेंट दैट बिकम्स ट्रांजिट होम. ट्रांजिट मीन्स इट इज़ नॉट परमानेंट, ऑलवेज इट इज़ मूविंग एंड चेंज, कीप्स चेंजिंग. चिल्ड्रन ग्रो अप इन देम. उसी टेंट के अंदर बच्चे बड़े होते हैं, बिकम्स पार्टनर इन सर्वाइवल. और थोड़ा जब चिल्ड्रन थोड़ा ग्रो अप हो जाता है, थोड़ा बड़ा हो जाता है, तब क्या हो जाता है, दे बिकम पार्टनर्स इन सर्वाइवल. उन लोगों को जो जीने की जो जंग है उसी में शामिल हो जाता है. एंड सर्वाइवल इन सीमापुरी मीन्स रैग पिकिंग. और सीमापुरी में सर्वाइविंग मतलब कचड़पट्टी, कचरा उठाना, कचरा छानना होता है. थ्रू द ईयर्स इट हैज एक्वायर्ड द प्रोपोर्शन ऑफ ए फाइन आर्ट. थ्रू द ईयर्स, बहुत सालों में, बहुत सालों से ये उन लोगों का जो कचरा छानने की जो काम है, इट हैज एक्वायर्ड द डिग्निटी ऑफ अ प्रोपोर्शन ऑफ फाइन आर्ट. ये एक फाइन आर्ट बन चुका है. अनदर इंपॉर्टेंट लाइन, गार्बेज टू देम इज गोल्ड. हाउ शॉकिंग द लाइन. गार्बेज जो कचरा है, जहां से हम लोग दूर चले आते हैं, लेकिन उन लोगों के लिए जो कचरे का ढेर है वो क्या है, दैट इज अ गोल्ड माइन, गोल्ड सैक फॉर देम. हाउ heartrending the line is. It is their daily bread. So जो हम लोग के लिए कचरा है, जहाँ पे हम लोग नाक में रुमाल लगा के हम लोग भाग जाते हैं वहाँ से, उन लोगों के लिए वो क्या है, that is a gold sack. That is providing their daily bread and butter. It is their daily bread, a roof over their head. ये उन लोगों के छत के ऊपर, सर के ऊपर छत है, उन लोगों के लिए खाने की रोटी है उन लोगों के लिए. Even if it is a leaking roof. कभी कभी उन लोगों का जो घर है, छत है, तिरपालिन है और टीन है, समटाइम रेन वाटर इज परकोलेटिंग थ्रू द होल. बट फॉर ए चाइल्ड इट इज इवन मोर. लेकिन एक बच्चे के लिए ये बहुत अहम है. आई समटाइम्स फाइंड अ रूपी. दैट लाइन दैट वाज इन द बिगिनिंग ऑफ द टेक्स्ट. आई समटाइम्स फाइंड अ रूपी, इवन अ 10 रुपी नोट. कभी कभी हम 1 रुपये की सिक्का भी मिल जाता है, कभी कभी 10 का भी मिल जाता है. Sahib says, his eyes lightening up. When you can find a silver coin in a heap of garbage, you do not stop scrounging. जब आपको कचरे के ढेर में एक सिल्वर कॉइन मिल जाता है, तो आप इसको बंद नहीं कर सकते. It is like an addiction. ये उन लोगों के लिए एक नशा बन चुका है. और मिलेगा, यहाँ पे खोदेंगे, यहाँ पे ढूंढेंगे तो और मिल सकता है. For there is hope of finding more. यही उम्मीद के साथ वो लोग जीते हैं कि जितना कचरा छानेंगे, जीने की उम्मीद उतना उन लोगों का बढ़ जाएगा. It seems that for children garbage has a different meaning. It seems to the narrator that garbage has a different meaning to the children. Different meaning. This is the important line. From here questions are also coming. For children garbage has a different meaning. Garbage has a meaning different from what it means to their parents. उन लोगों की, बच्चे की मॉम डैड के लिए जो एक मीनिंग है गार्बेज की, कचरे का ढेर मतलब होता है सरवाइव. लेकिन बच्चे लोग जो कभी कभी उन लोग मजा भी होता है, इट गिव्स देम प्लेजर्स ऑल्सो, दे टेक इट एज अ फन ऑल्सो, एज अ गेम ऑल्सो. फॉर द चिल्ड्रन इट इज रैप्ड इन वंडर. ये कचरे का ढेर बच्चे के लिए क्या है, एज इफ इट इज अ गिफ्ट एंड इट इज वर्क्ड इन वंडर. जैसे हम लोग कोई गिफ्ट का पैकेट खोलते हैं ना, रैप्ड जो कोई कलर पेपर में अगर रैप किया हुआ कोई गिफ्ट रहता है, हम लोग बहुत वंडर के साथ ढूंढते हैं, उन लोगों के लिए कोई गिफ्ट नहीं आता है, लेकिन पूरा कचरे का ढेर ही उन लोगों के लिए एज इफ इट इज ए टोकन ऑफ गिफ्ट। फॉर द एल्डर इट इज अ मीन्स ऑफ सर्वाइवल, लेकिन जो बड़े लोग हैं, बुजुर्ग लोग हैं, एडल्ट है, उन लोगों के लिए हीप ऑफ गार्बेज क्या है? इट इज ए means of survival for them. And for the children it is just a fun, it is just a game, it is a merriment for them. Okay students, today I must stop here. This is the first portion of my video. In the next portion I would like to complete the entire text. Thank you. So do not forget to like, comment and share. And one question I am asking from you, why I have chosen the color of this slide. In the next video I will tell you why this lost has been I have taken the color ash color or gray, almost you may say ash color, and this spring word I have written with a green font. Why I have written. Okay, so in the next video I will complete the entire text. I hope so. And do not forget to answer why I have taken two different color, gray and green. Why spring is in green and why lost is in gray color. Okay, thank you students.